Welcome back, everyone, to your leftover helping of low quality content. Now, today we're going to do something, quote, special. Not because I was late last month, because I didn't want to record and got distracted by Pokemon Violet. So I'm going to make up for that by being extra early on the next one, and we're going to get a 2-for-1 special. It's the Black Friday spirit, 2 for the price of 1. So we're going to cover November, which is highlighted by the Unova villain arc, and we'll go ahead and do December, which is going to be the Holiday 2022 and the Neo Champion Stadium arc. So before we get going, 2 things I want to cover that I'm not going to go into any detail about because they're not going to affect my tier list is Serena is being added to the dating sim thing, Trainer Lodge, there we go. The visual novel bit of the game. I don't cover those, so my flying tier list is not affected by that. And then Fantina is getting her 6-star, but it doesn't change anything, just like it didn't really change anything for Getsus. Also, just for a heads up, they are rerunning the Johto villain arc, so if you don't have Silver, now you can go pick them up. So there is that. Go back over ground rules again. Perspective of a casual/new player, and I prioritize free units over premium units. The tiers are ordered from left to right, at least in the first 3, which are 4, but not much is in Universal Best. Those are Universal Best, very good, but premium, and then decent third option. And then, like I just said, I don't talk about the Trainer Lodge pairs because you should pick the characters that you like the most. If I get enough requests to talk about them, I will give a brief, my opinion, but don't use that as a guide unless you want to. So I'm going to try to breeze through the ones that didn't have any major changes, but since we're going 2 months, a lot of types had a lot of changes. Starting with Bug. Big change is Hilbert and Genesect. I think he is very good. I think if you look at the damage dealers, I think you go 1, because Marnie Light, still very good, but he hasn't made a repeat. At the time of recording, Hilbert is at least still around. He has a lot of Swiss Army knife to him. He can change his type based on a couple of weaknesses. I believe it is Ice, Lightning, or Electric, Fire, Bug, and maybe Water is the Technoblast types for Genesect, but very good. And then probably your third best damage dealer is Lusamine. Other than that, no real changes from last month. But those are your 3 damage dealers. Your Bug Zone is Butler Emmett, hasn't been around in a while. New Year's Lily is coming back around soon, because New Year's is right around the corner. So probably the January update is going to be when she comes back around, and I highly recommend getting her. She's still one of the best supports in the game, and definitely the best support for Bug. Next one, Dark type. Dark also got a new unit. That is Champion Callum with Shiny Greninja. I think in a vacuum, Callum's going to be better than Serena and Greninja, but they have kind of the protein gimmick for both of them, so they can be very good for either Dark or Water. Callum sets up either Dark Zone or Rain. He is much better for the Dark types because you only have 1 other Dark Zone setter in Suit Cyrus, while you have plenty of Rain setups. So, and plus he boosts evasion, he boosts a couple of other stats, I believe, as well. So I think he's going to be a very good Dark support, but I still think your best Dark, he's probably the 2nd best Dark support after Caitlyn in Save Y, Halloween Caitlyn. So, and then just again to talk about damage dealers real quick, because I do want to at least try to hit the top 3 of every type. I think your best damage dealer is going to be Incineroar, followed by In, and then for your 3rd slot, you could say Caitlyn, give them Karen and Houndoom, or actually, I'd say Houndoom is better than Mightyena. Mightyena is like 4, and you know, Karen's free. In terms of supports, 1, 2, 3, and then probably like 4 right here. Cyrus, if you have him, he should just go on your dark team point blank period, because he's going to be much better at setting up zones than Callum is. Or Callum, whatever. He's going to be much better at it than him, and more consistent, and he can at least deal damage, and he can put everybody to sleep. Cyrus is just the better zone setter. But I digress. Anything else of note? Not really. If you have any questions about a certain unit, or if I go too fast and you want more clarification, I would say check the past tier list or just leave a comment. I try to reply to them all. On to Dragon. Don't think we had any new units. So Cyrus just came around. Hopefully you guys were able to get his repeat. Best damage dealers. I'll say Cyrus and Serena and Zygarde are tied for first, and then probably second. I guess Leon, I view, because Lucas is the zone setter, these two are supports, and she's more of a lower stat. She's more the disruption tech unit than kind of like the support tech unit like Lucas is. So I don't really see these 4 as damage dealers, so I guess Leon, but like there's a big difference between Leon and these two. There's a big difference between Leon and like Zinnia, Lance, Signasuit Cynthia. Like, I'll be honest, these 2 units right here, if you love the characters, go get them, but man, they show their age. You can tell that they're very early into the game's life units. They're like 2019, 2020 units. Like, ugh. Electric, 2 new units. Evolution, Holiday Jasmine. I'll start with Holiday Jasmine. She's good. She's got a very good kit. The problem is she's an electric support, and we have a lot of good electric supports already. While Lieutenant Surgeons and Signasuit Alessa tend to fill the same role, but for physical attack versus special attack, Sonya Nyamper is still very good. So she's gonna fit right in. You know, I feel like she's going to kind of be just like, depending on your team, if you have a physical attacker or a special attacker, you will have either Sonya or Jasmine, depending on your team. Obviously, Sonya is more accessible. She's free, as in you can get her from tickets, you can get her from any scout, because she is a spotlight unit, and Jasmine is a holiday unit, which means you can get her for this holiday season, and then she will be in a general holiday pool from here on out. So like this year, the past 6 holiday units being Rose Santa, Holiday Seabold, Holiday Leon, Holiday Nessa, Holiday Skyla, and Holiday Erica will all be in that general pool, and the next year it'll be 8, including Jasmine, and the one we'll talk about. Moving on to Chris and Jolteon. I think they're mid. I think all the evolutions are mid. They all do the same thing, but for a different type. They set up a beneficial terrain or weather on their sync move, and while that terrain or weather is active, your entire team cannot be inflicted by status conditions. Great to have, but there's better. For all of them, there's better. Spoiler alert, they're all decent third options, but there's better. Like, the team I currently rock with is Volkner, Lieutenant Surge Chew, and Red Pikachu, just because they shred. So Again, like I'm doing all of them in terms of damage dealers. Very easy. 1, 2, 3. And that's why Jasmine's down here, is because your best damage dealers for this type are all premium. Speaking of premium and holidays, one change that they have made on this update is you can now use multiple trainers with the same name. And the one trainer that I can think of that benefits more than anybody is Volkner and Electivire, who, yikes. Before this update, I would have him at don't use because he could not get going without electric terrain. And when he was introduced, all you had was one-use terrain here, and your terrain setter was the free Volkner, who I obviously have very high. So, yikes. But he obviously got a major buff because now he can do things with himself, and he is, again, Volkner is the de facto electric terrain setter. You know, you have terrain on Red Pikachu, but you're not going to use Volkner or Electivire with Red Pikachu because this guy's a striker, and then you had one use there. So, but good for him. Obviously, when New Year's runs around, I try to put the available units on the tier list, so I'll have to rank him, but until then, no opinion, don't have. On to the next one. Fairy type. I don't think there were any this go around. Wally, still very good premium. I'm pretty sure I talked about him in the last one because he was with Halloween. You know, he's your zone setter. Still the best support IMO. I don't know if Kalos is going to be the next villain arc. I would almost expect it to not be. Somebody made a comment on this, and they did not do these in order. They did Kanto, Sinnoh, Johto, Hoenn, Unova. So my guess is the next one is probably going to be maybe Alola. Maybe. I would not put money on Kalos being next. That doesn't seem like something they would do, especially if they're doing repeats. So, I mean, I guess technically Johto is next. But in terms of a new one, I would expect Galar or Alola before Kalos, which is stupid, but in the same vein, Solgaleo and player character desperately need a buff. They desperately need something, and I hope they get, like, a Duskmane form. So, I hope they get something. Some power boost akin to, like, Giovanni and Mewtwo, Cyrus and Palkia. You know, put them on that level, please. Fighting types. No real changes, and actually, while I'm back here in terms of damage dealers, because I forgot one. There you go, that's the only damage dealer you need. Probably, like, Diantha, I don't know, I know she's a striker 2, I guess. 2, I don't know. Like, the best one is Summer Marnie Grimmsnarl. Next. Fighting type, again, nothing real to talk about. So damage dealers, 1. I'll say 2, 3. Or you could put both of them at, you could put both of them at 2. I'd say they're about tied in my opinion. Other than that, you know, Maylene's still a great support, helps out a lot, buffs attack, sure, hit all, lower defense, can heal. Raleigh's a really good support, even though he's technically a text type. Cynthia's still good good support. But that's really it for the fighting type. No exciting changes in these past 2 months. Fire. 2 changes. Victini and Signasuit Hilda. I believe that's her Signasuit. And Lucas and Flareon. I've already talked about Lucas and Flareon because it's the same thing as Chris and Jolteon. Boring. Sets up Sun. There's better sun setting units, and you could argue Silver is a better sun setting unit than and I will argue it because they set up the sun the same way. It's sun on sync move. So yeah. Yeah. Silver's better than that in terms of setting up sun. Okay, cool. On to Hilda and Victini. She hits hard. You know, ranking these, I think you can honestly make a case that any of these 4 can occupy the top 3 spots without a doubt. You know, pick whatever order. I will say, I think probably last placed of all of these is Leon, and it's like that's the one I have, so I'm kind of like, I think Victini is more. I think you have your 1s, and then you have your 3s. That's just my opinion. I think Red's probably closer to the 1s than the 3, but I would say Anniversary and Victini are just a tad, a minuscule amount better than Leon and Sigma Suit Red. But I do think very highly of these 2 as is. You know, Leon has a lot of versatility. These 3 have a lot of damage. You know, you see that little psychic emblem, but you're only using Decree and Zero Chop. And I think, unfortunately, in the battle of these 4, this versatility kind of hurts Leon a little bit more. But moving on. To the flying type. The only real change is the introduction of a Trainer Lodge pair, which I've already mentioned. Not really going to cover because I don't talk about those, so best damage dealers. 1, 2, 3. Ghost types. I heard a rumor that Anniversary Lily is coming back around, and if she is, grab her. She's the best ghost type unit in the game, and that is not a competition. Like, Fantina got a 6-star, but you're not. All 3 of these are better damage. I think Mimikyu is a better damage dealer than Fantina and Mimikyu is. Just straight up. So, yeah. No real changes except for her getting her EX, but it's not really going to do much of anything. In terms of best damage dealers, Anniversary Lily, Sigma Suit and Karina. Pardon me. Alistair Gengar. Yep. Grass types. I believe no new changes. In terms of your best damage dealers, I think I'm happy with that. I do think Sigma Suit Lyra is like the best tech unit in the game. Like, best disruptor. She can work for anybody to stall and disrupt. But, yep. Ground types, no real changes. Best damage dealers. Probably something like that. Courtney is your ground zone setup. Really pairs well with Maxie, but if you give her Sand Shelter, which she doesn't have on her kit or her grid, which is weird, you can pair Courtney with Bertha, and then those 2 can make anybody. Well, you don't want to use Bertha with Maxie because Maxie needs Sun, but these 2 make these 2 a whole heck of a lot better. But the gap between, let me put it this way, Maxie can crush without any real help because I kind of do it that way, and I have been for a long time. So Maxie can crush without help. These 2 I don't think can, so that's why he's up there. Ice types. No ice types new ice types for the holiday event, and I believe no new ice. Oh no, one new ice type. Sigma Suit N and Black Curin. He's good. That's all I'm going to say about that. He hits very good. He plays like Ethan, in a sense. You hear... When Ethan came out, I was looking up reviews, and I heard that he plays like a rhythm game. And I believe that. And N kind of plays like a rhythm game. You use his Free Shock, and then you Noble Roar, Free Shock, Noble Roar. And that helps you, like, once you use Noble Roar, you get a free move. So it's very cyclical. But I'd say N's probably the best damage dealer, followed by Hala, and then Getsus. Now on to the normal type. We have 2 new units in Spotlight Hue, or not Spotlight Hue, Normal Hue, Free Hue, and Holiday Whitney. For one, I'm very glad Whitney's getting a new pair, a new unit, because a lot of these don't have duplicates. May is an exception. Giovanni has a couple. Leaf has a couple. Red has a couple. But like Palladian, Whitney, Sharon, Norman, Cheryl, you know, so I'm glad about that. And it helps that she's good. She can set up 3 different types of terrain, depending on how many bars of energy are left. I believe it's Grass at 2 bars, so I'm assuming 2+, Psychic at 1 bar, and Electric at 0 bars remaining. I don't know where my phone went, so I can't find the grids, but I believe that's what it is, and even then, she buffs different stats. I believe defense on grassy terrain, special defense on psychic terrain, and then speed on electric terrain. So she is very versatile. In terms of those, I believe she is now only the 2nd grassy terrain setup in the whole game. Obviously, there's a lot of electric terrain setups. Just go back real quick. Grassy terrain, yeah, the only grassy terrain setup is Sigma Suit Lyra, and the only electric terrain setups are, reliably, it's these 2. So, electric terrain's fine, and you're not really going to use Whitney for electric terrain. Psychic terrain, I believe, is just... Bianca's the only reliable one. I believe Sigma Suit Steven gets it on one of his forms. And I think also this May has psychic terrain. So you do have a couple of options, but obviously her big use is going to be grassy terrain. So for that alone, she's very good, but her kit just goes above and beyond. Hugh, we have a very solid damage dealer in the normal type that's not just Gladian. So that's very good. He has, I believe, Head Charge or Head Smash. It's a recoil move, but it has the Darox Raptor tags of removing or lowering recoil damage received. So there's that. In terms of, obviously, Red is still the best support. Leaf is probably up there. Giovanni's not bad. Whitney's, going to be up there. But in terms of damage dealers, for the typing, I know it's very limited. You're probably looking at something like that. On to the poison type. No real changes. Best damage dealers. Take your pick. I've yet to really use Iris yet. I do have her. So hopefully she can kind of astound me. I really hope so. But until then, it's like, your choices are these 3 very uninspiring. I think Iris might have some more... Actually, I remember her kit. Like, she sets up Zone, and she has Hyper Beam. And that may kind of put her above and beyond. hopefully, but again, it's not inspiring. It's probably just like pick your choice. Do you want to use a bad special attacker, a bad physical attacker, or a good poison trap stall character that just can't do much damage, or hyper beam to win? So psychic types, I've already kind of talked over these two, but other than that, I don't believe there are any new pairs in terms of damage dealers. 1, 2, 3. Psychic also has a lot of very good supports. I want to shout out the premium battle units, the gold ticket battle units. 5-star one, the player character in Mesprit, where if you get hit, it has free Venge 9, which means when you get hit, you get a free move, so you can just constantly set up Light Screen and Reflect for free. So that's really good. And then you have your terrain, but yeah, I would say that's probably about what the psychic type is looking like. Again, if you want to pause for any of that, for notes or whatever, feel free to just pause the video. So apologize if I go too fast. No real changes this go around in terms of best damage dealers. Probably looking at something like that. I'd say Nancy's probably a little bit better than both of those. Steel types. One change, one new unit. Chorus is fine. That's all I really have to say about him. Chorus is fine. Again, Steel has a lot of good supports. You have the very free Legendary Hop. You have Jasmine and Steelix. You have your Zone Setter, although not free. You know, the next couple months we're going to be getting a lot of holiday units. This month we're going to have the Winter, which is general holiday. Next month, January, is going to be the New Year's. And the month after that is going to be Palatine. So you'll have the chance to get a lot of good units there. And Valentine's Marnie is one of them. But that's really it. I don't have much to say about Colress because there's not much to say about Colress. You know, it's like he's fine. He's fine. And our last type for the video. Water. With 2 new units. I mentioned earlier that all of the evolutions are basically the same. That still rings true. Lyra and Vaporeon just set up Rain, which there are better Rain setups in the type, and you can't get status conditions in the Rain. Cool. Who cares? But Serena and Greninja, I do think she's a little bit worse than Callum, and I think part of that comes from the fact that she is supposed to be the offensive-oriented one, and Callum is a support type. So because of that, her big deal is setting up rebuffs, which means she has value for both water and dark. That being said, the water type doesn't need it when you have Archie, who is amazing. And then if you don't have Archie, you have May, who if it weren't for Archie, would probably be the best water type in the game. So, you're not going to really need the water type help. And I have her listed as water because her de facto type is water. And I do think a lot of her passives, because for her and Callum, the passives change depending on their type. So again, they have Protein, they have one dark move, one water move, so you swap types by picking a move. I do think her water kit is better than her dark kit. That being said, I don't think she's going to be that astounding. Third best is probably Nessa. Nessa is a great physical attacker, makes use of a lot of these. The one thing that I will give Serena credit for, and why she's in very good, is because she is very good at lowering stats. She is this unit on steroids, because this unit can whittle defense down like crazy. Serena has a Water Shuriken, a passive that makes multi-hit moves hit for the max amount, and lowers stats on hit. So, assuming I read that and understood it correctly, meaning she will be lowering 5 stats at random every time she uses Water Shurikens, which is nuts. So, very good. I know Water Shurikens isn't going to do much damage. She's probably going to be like a tech nuke, but I would still rock with Kyogre, Swampert, or Nessa. But that's going to be it for the video. Hopefully this didn't go too long. I am trying to push through these because I have a bad case of long-winded-itis. I'm also trying to stop stuttering and saying, I know I did that a couple times in this video, but it is what it is. It is a work in progress. Christmas is coming up, so hopefully you guys will have a good holiday, a good Christmas time. You know, I don't know what's in store for me. I will admit I'm kind of falling out of favor with Pokemon Masters, but I wonder how much of that is because I've been getting really into the new Pokemon games, which I think are very good. Yes, they have technical issues. Yes, there are things that need to be improved, but all in all, I do think Scarlet and Violet are like on my Mount Rushmore of Pokemon games, you know? So that's that. You know, I still want to do my low quality archive where I just catalog games, but I just don't know what game to start with. I don't really want to do PC gaming because I fear that my PC is on its last legs, and I would like to do little stuff like making these videos because they don't take a lot of processing power to do. And it's like, I know I need a new computer, and it's not that I can't afford a new computer, it's just I gotta move out of my current living situation first because my fiance and I live in a one-bedroom apartment, and I mostly work from home, so between that desk, my fiance has a desktop, so it's like I just got a little 6-year-old gaming MSI laptop that I use. So once that happens, I'll get a new computer, and hopefully I'll be making more videos. You know, I don't really do this for money or for becoming a YouTuber. You know, I'm very happy with the job that I have currently, so this is very much a hobby for me. But sorry about that, I don't mean to ramble, but you know, if you like what you see, you know, leave a like on the video, subscribe, you know, that definitely helps. Leave a comment if you have any questions. You can follow me on Twitter. I kind of started changing some stuff around to be more brand synergy-like. So I'm at Low Quality Con. I think there's a T at the end. Or no, Low Qual Content. There we go. That's what it is. So, yeah. Hope to see you guys in the next video. Drive safe, everyone. Take care.